The Change Now Summit Paris is happening from the 25th to the 27th of May 2023. And representing Trinidad and Tobago, heading up there, we have the founder and CEO of Sile Environmental Services, Ms. Shan Coffee Young. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Ruckus. Thank you.
I got both names right. I'm really proud of myself.
On the first try,
I done here now. I good for the rest of the show. All right, tell me, what does Sile Environmental Services Limited do exactly?
So Sile Environmental is a social enterprise, and we specialize in waste management, education, and training. So if I were to sum up what we do in one sentence, I would say that we transform the way you think and act towards waste in Trinidad and Tobago.
And when you say waste, you mean like our regular...
W-A-S-T-E, not W-A-I-S-T.
I imagine as such, but I want to know if you mean more like just regular household waste, like consumable waste?
Yes.
Or do you mean like more industrial stuff,
so
or
I
both?
work with both individuals, so at the household level, but I also provide consultancy support to businesses, specifically in food waste management, recyclables, and so on as well.
How are we supposed to look at waste?
How you're supposed to look at it? You're supposed to look at it as a resource. That it has value, not just something that you throw away.
And what is the value in it?
The value in waste now, one of the articles that I saw recently, waste is a money-making business in Orocas.
Well, I realize it.
Right? Because it can be used as an input for something else.
Okay.
So what we want to encourage people to do is to look at it that way. How can you take this plastic bottle and turn it into something else? Or how can you use the plastic that the bottle is made from into a process that you may have in your organization and your business?
Oh, okay. So you can use it. So you're saying that instead of throwing away everything, you could take some things and reuse it. So
correct.
That we initially have less waste, I guess, to begin
The
with.
goal of sustainable waste management is to firstly make less waste, not to throw away more.
Yeah.
Yeah?
All right. So now let's get to the Change Now Summit.
Yes.
What is that all about?
So the Change Now Summit is the largest grouping of solutions for the planet.
Right.
So all of us who are attending, we care about the planet in some way, and we're doing something to help it be better. So whether it's air, whether it's water, whether it's waste management, whether it's changing habits like what I do, we're all there because we want to make the planet better in some way. It's the largest gathering. And I was selected. So I tell people the number get big and then it's small, right?
It's small.
So it started with 300 of us who were selected to be exhibitors.
Right.
I also was selected to pitch my business in front of donors, funders, investors, media.
Like a Shark Tank kind of situation.
Yeah, but for the environment.
Well, of course.
Right? Yeah. And then that number narrowed down and I got selected to be part of 50 for the Seeds of Change program for those of us that are emerging talent. And then that narrowed down again where I got invited to an exclusive Pioneers dinner, one of 6. So I moved from 300 to one of 6.
Look at you.
Look at me now.
You're big in the dance.
I'm telling you.
And all this from not throwing away waste.
All of this I'm getting. And one of my friends really told me, Shan, you have the hardest job because your job is to change people's minds.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen overnight.
It does not.
So
how has the journey been so far in your process of getting people to change their minds?
It has been a real mixed bag in Orocas. It has been truly challenging in the beginning. People used to watch me like, what are you saying? What? That's the garbage you mean? I just had to throw it. Were you telling me I had to do something else?
Where the garbage truck does come from?
But eventually, with the continued talking about it, all the content and all the blogs and all of those things, people say, oh, that's what she means.
Right.
So I've just started, for instance, a food waste campaign about teaching people about the difference between what is food loss, what is food waste, what you could do with your food waste. It doesn't have, so if you have problems with your garbage smelling, it's because you're throwing food away, because it has organics in there.
Right.
And so if we could take that out and either compost it ourselves, compost it in our communities, give it to someone to compost, we are going to significantly cut down the amount of garbage that we throw away.
You say give it to someone to compost?
Yeah, they are, which is one of the great things that I like. Now, composting is one of my favorite activities. For me, waste is sexy, right? It's I could talk about it all day, all the time, right? So one of the things that there are a lot of young entrepreneurs now that are coming into the market, recognizing the importance of using organic material, and so they have composting businesses.
Right.
So when I say give it to somebody, you know, organize to have one of these entrepreneurs come and take it from you. One of the good things that I also started in the beginning is that people normally ask me, the number one question I ask, Sean, who does take this? Who does take e-waste?
So that's what I want to know, if you have a list available.
Right. So I've started compiling. Well, I compiled one, but I said, you know what? A lot more people have come onto the scene, so I want to, you know, update it a bit.
Right.
So it's called Throw Your Waste in the Right Place. Named after one of my favorite calypsos from Lord Funny.
Okay.
I have a little bit of young, but I have a little bit of an old spirit in me, right?
I understand.
So that document comprises plastics, used oil, e-waste, bulky waste, your old fridge, your old stove, anything you could think of that you'll normally get rid of. I have a list that's telling you, okay, this is where it needs to be. Don't put it on the side of the road now. Don't put it outside the house.
Right.
Take it to these people, and they will dispose of it in the right way.
All right. So, I mean, I have so many questions about this waste, and I feel like you could talk all morning about it. So, if I were to say, all right, I have my waste disposal at home, right?
Yes.
Am I supposed to now have a bin for compost, a bin for plastics, a bin for whatever else, and a bin for Tetra Packs, a bin for metal? Is it that we're supposed to have several of these bins at home?
No. So here's the thing, right? I am a very practical waste educator.
Waste thrower.
Yes. So for a lot of people, having multiple bins feels Herculean. It feels very, very big. Like all them bins have to put stuff in, and it gets very, very confusing. Now, the beautiful part is that for our beverage containers, there's mixed recycling. So you could use one bag, put everything in it.
Right.
When it gets to Swim Calls facility, it is separated by type.
Okay.
So things have been easier, although I am very much an advocate of everybody must lime together. So the plastics have to lime together, the glass have to lime together. But understanding that this is still relatively new and people are still getting used to this new habit that we want them to start doing.
Right.
We, the iCare program has mixed recycling. And so I have a little bucket in my kitchen for my food scraps. So once I'm cooking, I just put them in a little bucket and then take it outside because I compost at home.
Right.
So then take it outside to my compost heap. And I only do that when the bucket is full. I'm not doing it every day.
But tell me something about that compost heap, right? Because I tried that before, right? I had a little bowl and I would throw all my organic things in it. And then I had like a half a tank outside that I had filled halfway with dirt. And I would throw it in, right? And mix it up every so often. But then I find like inside of there I started to grow worms. I started to see cockroach. How is maintain that composting heap? Or how does it work?
Well, Rockers, the worms and the cockroach, they walk in, you know.
But then I don't want them coming inside.
No, well, they can't come. They shouldn't come inside your house.
But if it right outside
But they're working in the compost heap. And that's what I tell people. I anti-cockroach too, right? When they're dead and all, I run in the next direction. But for me, it is the worms, the cockroaches, the beetles, they're all doing their jobs. You would find, you probably asking yourself, but how do worms even get if it's in a tank? Like, where did they come from?
It's because the food.
It's the food. It's a natural process, right? So they are doing what they need to do. And composting is a layered process, right? So a lot of people say, well, Shanna, the rat and the cockroach and the cat and thing, you know, the neighbor has 6 cats and all the cats be by me.
Because you have a compost heap.
Right, but there's a way to do it right. To do it properly so that it doesn't attract the vermin.
I don't think we have time to get into the way to do it the right way, but we will talk.
We allowed to come back and do that
we will talk. But tell me, how can the general public and corporate TNT support your journey to France?
Right, so we actually have, so I've done a number of things. So I want to say a huge thank you as well to the corporate sponsors that have come on. And I tell people are doing like Trinidad Killer going right down, right?
Tell you lie down.
Right down to that lie down with the fundraising.
Right.
So what we have done is that I have a t-shirt design, which I also sell. I'm also a published children's book author. It's called Kai's Magical Adventures Where the Garbage Goes. And so we're almost there. Rockers, saying all my prayers that this week we are going to smash our fundraising goal.
And the goal is $30,000.
And the goal, yes, is $30,000. You see, we're almost there.
But we're almost there.
Almost
how can
right
people
there.
donate to add to the coffers?
Right, so they could send it directly to our bank account at Sile Environmental Services Limited. It's FCB 2395824. That is the account number, 2395824. 224.
If I go into FCB and I say I want to drop off something for SIAL Environmental Services.
Yeah, you're going in the line or using the box?
In the line.
Okay.
So if I go in the line and I ask them, they'll be able to
they should be able to give you the account
sure we can
number
keep it as easy as possible.
Yes.
Let me say congratulations to you again.
Thank you.
And continue the great work that you're doing, because it is very, very important work for us to even begin to understand how to manage our waste and how to be able to go forward with this new and save the environment. I mean, the world is important. I feel
Correct. I always say it's not always about doing things better, but sometimes we simply need to do better things. And what are those better things we could do? So quick, Rockers, before we go, I want to say a huge thank you. I have to write it down because I'm young in name, right? So Republic Bank, Unit Trust Corporation, the National Gas Company, Netco, Methanex, Ramps Logistics, and Q Styler. And I have some sponsors that making sure I look good too. So that is the Cloth, Heather Jones, Ashley One Bags, and the Indigenous Designs by Dominic LaRoche, and all of my donors, including my mommy and daddy.
But
Thank you, mommy and daddy.
Sean rolling with the A-listers. What trouble is this? Play with you. Well, Sean, please go out there and represent Trinidad and Tobago and represent your business and yourself, and do it to the best of your ability, as I know you definitely will. All the best. All the best next week. No pressure. I mean, you're just on the world stage. You get selected to be in a special dinner. Small thing. Small thing. Yeah. Enjoy yourself in Paris. And please check in with us when you come back so we can hear how it went.
I will. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Sean Coffey Young, the founder and CEO of SIAL Environmental Services Limited, joining us before she heads across to Paris for the Change Now Summit. And you can feel free to support her endeavors by heading across to FCB and donating to SIAL Environmental Services Limited. She gave the account number, but I know you ain't going to remember it. So it's all right. Just go in the bank line up and tell them you come to deliver something for SIAL Environmental Services. Thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you, Rockers, for having me.
We'll take a quick break and come back with your birthday shout. Stay tuned.